Hey guys, I have a different sort of video today. I opened up my Instagram for questions from people and they asked some questions and I said I would answer them in a video. And I set a plan with me, but since so many of the questions were planner related, I thought it'd be more helpful to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So the first one is from Maggie at Love and Doodles, and she said, what time do you wake up and do you dedicate planning time, or is it just throughout the day? I do write every day what time I wake up. Really, it's not what time I wake up, it's when my kids wake up. So it's really rare for me to wake up before them. It happens sometimes, but I am a morning person and they are too, so they take after me. So I usually get up between 5 and 6, and the first thing I do is get my coffee. I get them yogurt and snacks, and they just kind of chill or play together for a little while. They're easy in the early morning, and then that's when I make my list for the day. So even if I don't plan, I just at least make a list on my daily pages. They're my go-to. But planning, like as far as decorating and using stickers and making setups, I have to do at night after they go to bed. There's no way I could do that, too much of that when my kids are awake. So that's usually my crafty time. The next question is my go-to ballpoint pen, which I actually just tossed mine because I needed a new one, but I can show you a picture from the internet. It's a Zebra F-301. I love that pen. That question's from Mari at Twin 16. And I don't use ballpoint pens in my planners that much. I like to use gel pens, but that one is really great. My favorite gel pen is actually this brand, this Ultra Simple brand. I bought this from Aura Estelle, and I just really like the way it writes, and I think they made it look cute too. So they have different looks, but this one with the little bit of pink is my favorite. And then somebody asked the tips for starting a daily journal. That's a really good question. I have actually kept a journal my entire life. When I was 7, my mom said that she noticed I wasn't talking about my feelings that much, so she gave me a journal and asked me to start writing down what I felt. So I did, and I totally fell in love with it from a very, very early age. So I actually have a box in my storage. Just my whole life is written down pretty much. Every boyfriend, all of that stuff, it's all in there. It's really fun for me to go back and read it. I miss days here and there. I try to go back and fill in what I can. This is from last year. So I can't say I do it every single day, but more days than not I do. And this is my tip for starting it. I love using a planner as a journal because it has the dates already there and it makes you want to fill it even if you don't write. If you just do a doodle or put some decorations on it, you did something to express that day. So I would just start small, and I love pocket size. It's small. These are printables from Annie Plans. It's just her daily grid, it's called. And I like this one because it's dated, but you can use it anytime. I put the January on there. The front is really good to use just to write one thing you're grateful for every day. This is a wonderful exercise. And then what I would do is just sit down and write like a highlight from your day or what stuck out the most. Even if it's something negative, you're getting it down on paper. So like, okay, here's a bad day, I was really tired. I like being able to use a sticker to show that because the words are important to me. I like to write things down, but I also love to show in a picture what it looked like or what it felt like, and character stickers are really good for that. So that's how I would start. Just pick one thing from the day to write about rather than trying to do the whole thing step by step. Think about what you would want to look back on later. Like, what did I think about it when this happened? Those are valuable later. So just think like that, like what might be valuable to me in the future. And then you can worry about decorating it and all that stuff after you've done your expression part. The next question is, how do I decide which deco to use in my daily pages? That's a great question. Sometimes I let it depends on the day, like this day it was a Thursday. I work in the morning and then family time in the afternoon, and I had this really cute sheet that I love from Bunny Plans called the Introvert Girl. And these are all from that sheet except for this one. So that's something I do sometimes. I'll have like a single sheet that just looks cute all together, so I'll use that. Usually it's by color. That's pretty much how I decide. I'll pick a color that I want to go with for that day. Like this day was a light pink, and I'll just grab stickers from my stash that are like that. And one thing I try to do is I kind of zigzag the stickers so then they're not all clumped on one side. That's something I tend to always do. I might put a couple together on one side, but then I'll balance it out. I don't know why, it's just how I think, it's how my brain works. I hope that's helpful. The next question is, how many planners do I use? Okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I use A6 rings. It's my everything. Love, love, love this planner, this size. I love how much I can fit, but it's still pretty small. I love it. So this is where I keep, everything about my home. I keep some stuff about work, kids, family, birthdays, friends, all that stuff, schedule. Daily pages I put in Astrology right now. I don't even know how to say that word as part of the same planner. I could put daily pages in this, it just gets so overstuffed, which I don't like. So I think of that as kind of the same thing. They're both A6 size. Then I have a personal wide that I use for social media. I could probably get away with just having a tracker in my regular planner on my posts and things like that, but I wanted to expand it out so I can keep track of things like group sales. If there's a shop that I'm working with that's in a sale, I want to make sure I write that down so I know to answer questions on Facebook and things like that. I have sticker paper, which this is really awesome. So whenever I use a kit and I have extras that I want to save, I take them off of the sticker sheets and I put them on this sticker paper, which I bought from Amazon. So I love using this. This planner, to me, there's not much to it. It's more of a storage and something that I check in with every couple days. So I love having it, but it is another part of my system. And then everything else that I do is just for journaling or memory keeping, and that's it. Like Erin Condren, this is a memory keeper. I write about the day, I write little highlights, things like that. It's not really journaling, it's just more of at a glance, this is what this week was like. And the reason I like having something on a spiral or bound is because I can look back at it later and not have to flip through how I store all my ringed inserts, which is in a Tupperware on a ring. I don't want to look back through that if I need to check something. So I think it's helpful to have a memory planner. I really like that system. And then my Hobonichi I use for writing about my kids only. Question, this is really interesting. If I had my own shop, what would it be called and what would its specialty be? I have no desire to open a shop because I run our family business, so I feel like I already have that need satisfied. I don't want to start another business. It's a lot of work. I love being a customer and I love being a PR girl, but I could not run one. I admire people that do because I know it's got to be so much work. But I think that if I were to do it, I think I would like to design inserts, but I don't think I'm good enough with computers to do that. But I am so interested in inserts. I always get excited when I get new ones. I just love it. I don't know what it would be called. I'm gonna have to think about that one and I'll come back to it. But I think I would like to do unique inserts. Like this is a step-by-step decluttering insert from Cloth and Paper. I also have a room design insert, which is really cool, from Creatively Planned, a gardening insert from Creatively Planned. So I think I would love coming up with stuff like that. If I had a shop about inserts, I would probably call it something like One Day at a Time or Step by Step, something like that, where it kind of communicates we're doing this one thing by writing down our thoughts is step one. Step one would be a cute name, something like that, something that would show this is the beginning of something. That's how I feel when I look at a blank insert or a blank piece of paper. It's just like this possibility. The next question is, how did I get into planning? I'm going to get my old planner and show you. So I first got into planning. I was working in an office. Well, I was working at a cognitive psychology center, and I was the assessor. So I had a lot of appointments, and people, I had to know their names, what time they were coming, and what they felt like was wrong. So that would kind of guide me in figuring out how to test them. So, love that job. It was really cool. So I would have a weekly meeting with my boss, and she had an Erin Condren, and she was so proud of her Erin Condren, and she showed it to me because she knew I had the personality of someone who would enjoy planning. And at that time I used a day designer that I got at Target, so I still used a planner, but I remember looking across the table at her planner and seeing heart washi tape. It was around Valentine's Day, and just thinking, oh my gosh, I want that. What is that? What is that tape? So it started really with washi tape and an Erin Condren. And I bought an Erin Condren, but I ended up not really liking planning in it, and I discovered binders pretty quickly after that, and Carpe Diem. This was a Carpe Diem A5 binder, and that was really my first like love of planning thing. And she told me, my boss was like, you wouldn't believe it, there's people on YouTube that talk about this planner and Instagram and stuff. And I was like, really? Look at me now. This is like 4 years later. I'm one of these people on YouTube talking about planners. I couldn't believe it when she told me. But it ended up being a really great time for me to get into planning because I was pregnant with my first child, and I was anxious about that. I wanted to feel prepared, and I did. So it was really cool. I got into it. I started right away. I think why I like binders is I can try different inserts, which is my passion with planning. And I just, it wasn't well done or anything. I just loved to decorate, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I first made my Instagram, I think 2 years ago, maybe 2 or something like that. But I kept track of everything. These are all my son's milestones and all the words. I would list out the words that he said as he learned to talk, foods that he liked, our daily schedule. Oh, I wish I was that good now. I kept stuff about our home, a wish list, and I'm so glad I saved this. I was really bad about tossing all my old stuff early on, but now I started to keep it, and I'm glad I did. Anyway, that is how I got into planning, and I've never stopped. I am the type of person who plans more when I'm overwhelmed or stressed, so I've never had an issue of like, oh, I don't have anything to post. No, I have too much to post, and it's like embarrassing how much I use them, so no worries there. My planner lineup for 2020, this is a great question. I'm gonna keep the A6. I love this size. It's just perfect for me. And by the way, this is the longest I've ever stayed with any size ever. So I'm keeping my A6 planner as the thing I can put in my purse and bring with me to work. This, I haven't decided if it'll stay or go. I mean, obviously I'll be keeping my sticker paper in there, but that's an expensive sticker album if that's all it is. So I don't know if I'll keep the personal wide. I don't really feel like I need it, but I do like it, so I could go either way. Definitely keeping dailies. I started, let me show you my first daily pages. I started those back when my second child was born, because I was really overwhelmed. I had a 1-year-old and a newborn and a business to run. So I just felt like I needed to keep it really simple and take one day at a time. So I'll show you. So my second son was supposed to be born on Halloween as a scheduled C-section, and then he ended up coming a week early. They said he ran out of room, so I had to change, my planner that I had perfectly, carefully planned for him was a little messed up, but that's okay. And I kept it in this little pocket domino. This is from Filofax, and these are very reasonable. I think it was, well, I got it in a giveaway on Instagram, but I think they run about between $20 and $30. They're really not bad. And they come in cute colors, and I loved bringing this with me to the hospital. So I had these little Annie Plants printables, and I remembered from having my first son, it was so hard to keep track of all of his feedings, and you have to keep track of their diapers. So I felt like, okay, I need a schedule on one side and I need notes on the other side. So this was in the hospital the day he was born. I wrote when I nursed him and his diapers and my nurse's names. And then I had a lot of medication to track. These are really messy, I know. But obviously I was just writing it for survival. Food, water, I had to really be careful, make sure I took my water and my medications, things that I was ordering that we needed, night feeding. So really, daily pages started here, and then as he got bigger and bigger, his little checkups, I just really, really liked him. And he's almost 2, so this was 2 years ago, and I'm still using daily pages. So that's what I do in here. God, I forgot the question. My planner light. So, yikes. I like having them in this bound book because, as you can see, this was my point. Flipping through this is not as much fun. I've actually been thinking I want to put them back in this planner so I can keep it set up the way it was. I'm so sentimental like that. But I was thinking I like having my dailies in a bound planner now. I think it's fun. So I think I'm going to stick with this team, and then the Hobonichi and the Erin Condren as memory planners. I still like that too. I'll show you my Hobo. The answer is yes, I'm going to keep the same lineup. I'm really happy with it. I can tentatively say I have planner peace because this one I can change as much as I want, and I do. I change the cover all the time, I change the insides all the time, but it's also very functional. This keeps me on task every day, and then these are my things that I love to look back at. So that's why I'm really happy I have these. And this is it's kind of a breakout of what I used to keep all in my A5, which I don't want to go back to because it's so huge. But I keep all my kids' stuff in here, like their nap times. I write down milestones. When we have family time, I write it down. So this is special. I love having this. I never want to change that. And then the Erin Condren is just, like I said before, mainly for my stickering needs. Also good to have everything in one place for a whole year. But I do need a place to use stickers. Can't help it. And then someone asked if I use B6, my favorite place for B6 kits, and whether I use B6 kits, Erin Condren kits in my B6. I am not using a B6 anymore. I did last year, so I got that out to show you. But here is the size comparison. So here's an A6 size, and here's a B6 size. So you can see it's really not that big of a difference, but I just didn't feel like I needed this extra space. B6 and personal white are actually the same. So if I were to put this in rings or to put it in here, it would fit perfectly, but it wouldn't fit in an A6. So the answer to the other question though is I do like to use kits in wherever I can. I use them in my A6 too. The key is just getting inserts that have Erin Condren width boxes. So mine are from Printable Kate, and she does have Erin Condren width options available. So I like those. I like hers for that reason. They're still really functional. I have plenty of room to list and still use a little bit of decoration. And if I have a week that's busier, I just don't use a kit. That way I have more room to write if I need it. Normally it works out where I can at least use a few full boxes. But I used to use kits for everything, even my dailies. So these were daily pages from Printable Kate with an Erin Condren size column. So you can use kits in that too, which was fun. I liked doing that. This was when I was in a traveler's notebook last year. So that's what a kit looks like there. And I have to say, my favorite shop for those kits, unfortunately, the shops that I used to buy kits from for this are closed now. So it's hard for me to say, but I actually really love, let me show you, Gilded Press kits. Here's one I just put down for October in my A6. This kit's from Gilded Press, and what I like about hers is there are only 4 pages, and that's a full kit is 4 pages. So to me, I'm not wasting as much as if I bought like a bigger EC kit, and it's not as expensive, and it's still really beautiful, foiled. Here's one in my Erin Condren, just so you can see the difference. I'm actually uploading a plan with me using this one today. Oh, well, here's one of her Christmas ones. Here's the one I just did. It's beautiful. So her kits are really gorgeous, and like I said, they come with 4 pages, so I feel like they fit really well in smaller planners as opposed to some more like deluxe kits, you know? The next question, what's my ride or die planner? That is so hard. I have to go with A6 rings, but if I could only have one planner, like one and that's it, I would use an Aura Estelle. That's what my personal wide is. And I would choose that because it has the strings for traveler's notebooks also. So I can also put this in here. I'll show you. So I could actually keep my same system. I like it in front. I had it in here last week. And then I can have all my ringed inserts in there, and it still closes. It works. So yeah, this would be my ride or die if I could only have one. But since I can have multiple ones, I like to change it around. But sometimes I do keep it all in this. I'll do one more planning question, and then there were 2 more personal questions that I want to address all. The next question was my favorite shops. So that's a tough one. But I will make a list of those to show you, and then my preferred planning style, definitely daily pages. If I had to pick like one type of planning to do, it would be daily pages. I just feel like there is nothing more effective than sitting down every morning, making a list of what you need to do or what you want to do, and that's it. If that's all I could do, that would work. Someone asked to hear about my solo travels, and I was single for a really long time, and I lived alone, so I was alone a lot, and I got used to it, and I still wanted to travel. So one trip I took was to San Francisco. I did meet a friend there, so I wasn't alone the whole time, but it was still a very healing, beautiful trip that I took, and I always think about it. The other big one was to London. It was a dream of mine to go there and have tea and just live out all the things that I read in my favorite books, and I was tired of waiting on somebody to go with me, so I went by myself. I booked a solo tour through Kentucky, and they had a place for me to stay and things for me to do, and then I just went and did it all on my own. And there were lonely moments, but overall it was one of the best trips of my life, and I loved it. Another question is, why am I not working in my field since I have a master's in psychology and I run a marina? It's 2 very different things. The short answer is that I had a bit of a crisis after I became a therapist. My father passed away. I didn't really think it was ethical for me to try to counsel people while I was going through that. By the time I did really feel like I could return to the field, my life had changed a lot and I became a mother, so I wanted to spend more time with my kids. So working in our family business, running our 2 marinas has been wonderful. Thank you for watching this more personal video, and please feel free to participate next time I do a Q&A. I would love to do another video like this if you guys like it. Thank you for watching.